Hello, everyone. I'm here with Coolio Vids once again.
Hello.
And no, we're not here to talk about The Dark Knight Rises or, our other podcast, our Transformers podcast. No, we're here to talk about Arkham.
Yes, Arkham City or Arkham, the whole game series, really. I know it's, you're probably thinking, what, that game came out like 3 months ago.
Well, I didn't get to play it until Christmas.
Yeah, I beat it like back in October, but someone over here took a while to get the game and play it, so we're doing it now.
So I will probably do a review with Tory GNR1 and this guy over here.
Hello.
Because I'd like to do a huge group review for Arkham City.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about what villains we want to see in the third game, because we already know, if you've played the game, you already know something big's coming up.
Yes.
So, and one thing, this is another thing that basically perked my interest in doing a video like this, was one guy I was listening at is like, well, they have to reuse villains, there aren't any more Batman villains. I'm like, that's a load of crap.
What? No more Batman villains?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so part one's basically us talking about who's going to be the big villains. So, of course we saw in the side quest, I'm convinced Hush is going to play a big role in the third game.
Oh, he kind of really has to at this point. We've learned that, oh, by the way, if you haven't realized it by now, but spoilers! Crazy spoilers, yes, I know. But, in one of the side missions, where you're following around this person who's stealing people's faces, and then you find out it's Hush, Hush kind of, like, leaves you in a cage, and he's like, yeah, bye, and then the mission kind of ends, like, learn more in the Batcave, and it kind of drops off there. And so that's really the most ideal place to pick up for the next game.
Yeah. And for those who do, and another spoiler is that Hush basically does what he did in Paul Dini's story called Batman Heart of Hush, where he basically surgically transformed his face into looking like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And that really played a bigger role in Paul Dini's Streets of Gotham series, where he took over the Wayne Foundation after Bruce Wayne's quote-unquote death.
Yeah, it was a little harder for Thomas Elliott to do it rather than Clayface, because Clayface could just like smush his face. Thomas Elliott had to do some serious work to get his face to look like Bruce's.
Yeah, but most people think, oh well, Hush isn't really a big villain. He's a huge villain. I mean,
yeah, he goes pretty back with Bruce, and he's kind of like had his own little story about Hush. He had almost like every villain involved with his story.
Yeah, which makes him
kind of sounds like these games,
Yeah. Which actually makes him a good candidate for a big villain in the third game, because he had this he and the Riddler basically got every Gotham villain working for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came back in Hush Returns, which sucked, everyone thought he died, but then the third one, written by Paul Dini in Detective Comics, was where he stole Catwoman's heart, literally. Like, he surgically removed it. So, I'd like to see, if they're going to do that, I'd like to see him just kidnap Selina and cut out her heart.
Geez, I mean, yeah, they killed, again, spoiler, Talia at the end of Arkham City. Why not kill off Selina in the next game?
Well, he saved her in the story. That could actually be a cool, like, underlying mission, like, we gotta save Selina before, like 10 hours or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Hush, I can definitely see as playing one of the, because in Arkham City we had two different stories involving Batman. One with the Joker and the Cure. The other one being, Hugo Strange and the secret behind Arkham City, which we all learned. Well, actually, I figured it out halfway through the game that, again, spoilers, Hugo Strange is working for Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, that was one of the two big like surprises. That wasn't like, that was kind of the lesser of the two. But yeah, it's still cool.
Yeah.
It made sense at least. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm convinced also we might see Raish in the third game. Another one, and you probably don't know this one, but I was thinking maybe, I was thinking there's a possibility of bringing in a Grant Morrison villain from his series, Dr. Hurt.
I'm not familiar with this character.
Dr. Hurt appeared in Detective Comics before the events of Batman R.I.P. during this story called The Black Glove, which him and a society called The Black Glove basically wanted to take revenge on Batman. And Dr. Hurt was this... He was a nut job. Like, he even, like, he almost convinced Bruce Wayne that he was really Thomas Wayne.
Jesus.
And, I mean, this guy, he's, I mean, there was even a point in Dr. Hurt where people didn't know much about him. He is a man known as Simon Hurt, but most people, his origins are kind of foggy still. Most people, even Batman once thought that not only was he Thomas Wayne, but he also thought he was the devil.
Jeez. Yeah.
He's this brilliant mind. He was like 9 steps ahead of Bruce Wayne throughout Grant Morrison's starting run. He wasn't much of a... He was kind of a hand-to-hand fighter, but mentally he was superior to Bruce.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I think he would be a cool overlapping villain, like the big head honcho. Most definitely for Dr. Hurt. Like, and again, spoilers. I keep saying that because I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there have not played the games. Like, they made a lot of hints, like, if you tap into a certain radio signal, you basically get this message of, I am returning. Well, that was kind of what Dr. Hurt was. When he came back to Gotham, he brought it to its knees. Especially with Batman. And there was a kind of... and then in the Azrael prophecy, Gotham was going to burn. And even the cult of Saint Dumas, they even, if I recall right, because this was what, 4 years back of continuity. They even feared Dr. Hurt.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he is a real villain to be reckoned with. So I think he would be a really cool villain. I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of Grant Morrison's original made characters in a game, at least not to my knowledge. So, yeah, he would be kind of interesting, just for Paul Dini, because I really like it when he plays with characters that other people created. Not like his original, again, Hush. Hush was a Jeff Loeb character, and he really got to play around with that.
Yeah.
And there's even rumors that Paul Dini might not... Speaking of Paul Dini, there have been rumors that he may not write the script to the third game, and Scott Snyder might. So, that might be interesting.
Wow, I did not know that. That kind of took me for a loop there. I was like, whoa. No, Paul Dini. Better catch my breath.
Yeah. Well, that's rumored. I mean, he may stay on. I mean, he really wants that Superman game, though.
He better stay on.
Yeah.
Better.
So, I think one more overlying villain that I guess we could talk about is one that a lot of fans have been wanting since Game 1. That would be Jason Todd.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a whole, game idea for Jason Todd.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so, Jason Todd, is something I really wish they would bring up, just because they've had so many elements that can key into Jason Todd in this game. For one, and you gotta pay attention, because this is where it gets crazy. Alright, so for one, we have Hush. If you remember, Hush, at one point, was believed to be Jason Todd, which turned out to be Clayface. Clayface was introduced in the last game, well, as a big main villain, who was dumped into the Lazarus Pit. Whether or not we know that was killing him or making him invulnerable, we don't know. I mean, that could just make him even more crazy. So that could deal with something. Also, with tying into the Lazarus Pit, we have Ra's al Ghul, who, under the Red Hood, we realize that he is the one who brought back Jason Todd, and this all kind of dwells into more insanity, which we can tell that the whole Arkham City style is based off of, the whole Arkham series is based off of insanity. And with the Joker gone, I mean, Batman, I can assume, he would just kind of go nuts. Because at the end of the last game, Batman, oh, spoiler alert, Joker died. And Batman didn't say anything. He was speechless. He carried out Joker and didn't say anything. And then we get a very touching and emotional song of Mark Hamill singing Only You. And we get a feeling of that Joker cannot live without Batman. So what if Batman cannot live without Joker? So this would drive Batman more into insanity. Then with the so-called return of Jason Todd, that would drive him even crazier. And then leading up to the big reveal that this so-called character Red Hood, who used to that used to be Joker, it's all tying together. I may not be explaining it well, but it's all tying together. See, Red Hood goes with Joker, and Joker goes with insanity. Insanity goes with the Jason, and the Jason goes with the Roz, and the Roz goes with Lazarus Pit, and the Clayface goes with the Jason, which goes with the Hush, and the Hush goes with the last game, and yeah. And so all this crazy stuff happens.
Yeah. And that would actually be, like you said, a great way to play with Batman's psyche, especially because we know that's Tim Drake as Robin, Dick Grayson's Nightwing, so there is a gap.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of thing. And I doubt that they would go, I really hope they wouldn't. I doubt they would go the whole animated series route and skip Jason Todd. I really think that they would just go for Jason.
Yeah.
Which I hope they are. And so if they are, bring on Jason Todd. Like, have the final showdown be between Batman and Jason. Like, the guy who wants to bring justice to Gotham, but just go past the line. Yeah. That kind of thing. And a lot of people were saying that, like, Batman's greatest fears. What are some of his fears? What are his greatest mistakes? Some things that delve in with the Joker, some things that delve into Jason. So now that Joker's dead, one of his greatest mistakes are gone. The other one now has been resurrected. And Batman would pretty much totally lose it.
Yeah. Especially, like, Jason could even play with him, like, you did what I always wanted you to do. I just wish you did it sooner. I wish you killed him sooner.
Yeah, like, there's that, that beautiful scene at the end of the Under the Red Hood animated movie where he's like, I was never upset with you that you let me die. I forgive you. I only question why is this scum still alive, that kind of thing, but, he would never be mad at Bruce. He was just, I'm doing what you can't. I am the better Batman.
Yeah.
So he would be cleaning up, and this would never happen, but I would like them just to kind of keep this in mind. I would love, and you're all gonna, hate me for this, but I would love for Batman to die, and for Jason to carry him out.
Wow. Or Nightwing.
Or someone to carry Batman out the way they did Joker at the end. So kind of have like a mirror. So I would, and you're all probably like, why would you kill off Batman? But yeah, I just feel like it would be really interesting after all of this crazy stuff going down. Either Jason Todd needs to die, or Batman needs to die.
Yeah. So you think Jason would be another good overlapping villain?
Yeah, I think he would just be like the ultimate thing at the very end. It's like, yeah, this is what I think Hush would be the equivalent of Hugo Strange's thing. Like, he was the main thing, but he wasn't the main thing.
Yeah.
And Jason Todd would be the equivalent of, the Joker.
Yeah.